Hi, Julie. How are
I
you?
am doing so good. I'm so glad to have you here today, and I'm tickled pink that this is almost to the end, and I know that you are too.
That's right.
It's a long process. We're talking months and months from getting through the primary to now we're almost at the general election. I mean, it's just a flood of signs
Yes.
everywhere and chicken dinners and knocking on
That's
doors,
right.
and it's a lot of work. How have you been doing?
Well, my wife can't wait for me to get back and to carry on my parental duties.
Yeah, I bet.
So I can't wait for November 8th, but it's been a really good experience for me. This is my first gig running for public service whatsoever, and I really enjoyed it.
You might have to hold that a little bit just so
Yeah,
you're talking into it. I need to bring a screwdriver in here and
yeah,
just fix
yeah,
that real
that's okay.
quick.
Yeah, can you? Okay, so
So your wife is like, yes.
yeah, my wife says yeah, like, she can't wait for me to
Why did you
come.
do this?
That's right. So it's my thing is I wish the early voting ends on election day
Yeah.
because we have to take out the signs
Oh gosh.
after November the
What a
3rd and
pain in the
then put
butt.
it back and
Do you know how
it's
many signs are? You haven't been by the Civic Center, or I think it was First
yeah,
Baptist was
yeah,
early
yeah,
voting.
it's like a forest, you can't see a tree, and that's exactly
Sea
true.
of signs. It's amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, I just want people to know who I am, and
Yeah.
just putting myself out there. It's a difficult district, but what I bring is something unique, a different perspective as an outsider.
Which District 3?
District
Okay.
3, District
Which is
3.
Josh Hastings' district currently, right?
No,
No.
Josh is
He's 4.
he's in 4.
I
Yeah.
always get that mixed up.
So District 3
As Larry
encompasses,
Dodds.
yeah,
Okay.
Salisbury, Fruitland, and
Yes.
all these, like,
Hmm.
Pittsville Village and all the rural areas of the county. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they make them kind of like that. I guess it has to do with the census and population and things of that way. But literally, look at these. I'm
It's,
sweaty in here. Um, Look at these districts on a map. They're like, I don't know, a jigsaw puzzle, pretty
yes,
much,
yeah.
right?
It's the third largest district in the county.
Okay.
It's about more than 15,000 voters, and I'm just doing my best. I want people to know who I am and the reason why I'm running. I'm
Yeah,
run.
let's talk about you because I think you're kind of fascinating, really.
Okay.
Are you blushing?
Yeah.
No. So tell us about your background because.
Okay. I currently work as a professor of finance. This is my 15th year at SU, and that's the
Mhm.
reason I moved to the Eastern Shore. I love it here. Both my kids were born here. I, even though I'm not from here, I consider myself my native, and that's the reason I'm running because I care about this county. Besides teaching, I volunteer a lot in most of the organizations. Every school my children have studied, whether it's Wicomico Day School, St. Francis, North Salisbury, Bennett Middle. I'm a vice president of PTA at Salisbury Middle. Everywhere I go, I'm part of the community. I volunteer the St. Francis Catholic Church as well. I'm a board member in the Junior Achievement because I believe strongly in financial literacy.
Yeah.
And once the Purdue Henson Center opens up next year, it's going to be a big asset to the community.
Let's talk about that for a minute because I'm not sure people are aware, and I've heard about this, but I don't even know all the ins and outs. So tell us about that.
Okay, so when you do a junior achievement program in the county, I've been teaching it for 10 years in different elementary and middle schools. Students learn about saving, investing, business, entrepreneurship. There are different modules, our city, the career paths you can take, things like that. So the Purdue Henson Center is going to be an hands-on live experience where 10,000 students will go through the center each year. It's a $7.5 million facility being built in the old Kmart on Tillman Road.
Okay.
What students do is they'll come in, they'll be given a budget, and they have to go spend it. So it's a real life experience of, you have a virtual cash, and how are you going to manage it? This is the amount of money you earn, how much are you going to pay for your rent, how much for your food, for your car insurance,
Right.
for savings. So it's like, there's a saying like, I teach, you forget, like, you do and you remember, right?
I
And
think
that's
that's
exactly
what
what
I
it is.
learned. Yeah.
So it's not a one-off thing. So what we do is the students from multiple grades will be able to come into the center and do it repeatedly, and that's how you reinforce learning.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a big asset. Kudos to Jamie Lynn. This is her vision. She's been working for 16 years and she's brought it through. I'm glad I'm part of the what I'm trying to help them.
Yeah.
So if you want to donate, please do donate. Go to jaes.org. Donate generously because it's an investment that we are making in the future of our community, in our students, and I think it'll be a valuable asset. So
Yeah, I was just going to ask how it's funded. So obviously,
it's through donations. The Purdue Foundation has funded, the Henson Foundation has
Yeah.
funded. Obviously, they take donations from all citizens. So if you can donate, you can do planned giving. You can make it part of your will that you want to give. There's tax benefit on giving. There's plenty
Okay.
of. And they do a great job, so please reach out.
It's great that we do have organizations that give back to their community in a monumental or financial way. I think that's really important. I think it's not only just the right thing to do, but they're looking at the future of their employees and their human resources, and they're smart. That's a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I think that the financial literacy aspect is something we've been missing
Right.
for so long, and it's so fundamental, right?
It is. It's true. I mean, you think about it. Every major decision that you make in life has to revolve with money.
Yeah.
It's marriages break of do. I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
because of money matters.
Yeah.
The biggest investment you make in your lifetime is the purchase of a house. How you save for retirement, for your kids' college, or whatever it is. It's fundamental, right? And I think we have to do it in every grade level, and I think this center will achieve that. So that's one aspect of it. The other thing is I also bring in elementary school kids, middle school, who do the stock market challenge. We plan to have the kids in May of 2002. Because of COVID, we couldn't do it, but we restarted the program. This is in conjunction with the Maryland Council for Economic Education. So kids actually do stock market trading. We want to bring them to our campus. It could be first generation kids. They've never been on a college campus.
Can I go?
Oh, please, you're welcome. Yeah, we have the first cohort coming on November
I'm a
the 18th.
little old to be considered.
It's never too late to learn. So I mean, what we do is we bring the kids on campus. We show them how to actually trade in the finance lab in the Purdue School of Business. We do them a campus tour. They have lunch in our commons. It's a way for them to get exposed to these are career paths that that is out there. These are high-paying jobs, and getting them interested is something that we can literally build a community by exposing all these opportunities to our students, and it'll be an ongoing process. That's something that I strongly believe in.
Wonderful. I just want to say that if you've just joined us, you are on the Sunday brunch with Jules and Company, and my company today is Leonard Arvi. I like to call you Leo Arvi. I don't know why that's stuck in my head, but he's running for Wicomico County School Board for District 3, and we're just talking about some of the initiatives that are in the community and some of his involvements. Obviously, being involved in different things isn't anything new to you. It's something you enjoy, you want to give back. I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but it seems to me that your history speaks for itself as it goes there.
Right. Yeah, I come and do things, and I call it out as it is. I am a guy who stocks it straight, and I think this community hasn't invested for its future, and I think we need to do it. If we don't do it, I don't think we have a future. So I think the best investment, I always tell my students, is human capital investment. You're going to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
And education is the best investment you can make. So let me give an example. For example, it costs a lot more money to incarcerate somebody than to educate, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if we focus on crime fighting, all that is good. We need to do that. But what are we doing when somebody comes out of prison? Are we getting them a job, making them productive citizens?
Right.
There are structural issues that we need to be addressed, right? Why don't we invest in more money into the schools? Make sure our kids are held to a higher standard, so that they come with employable skills, whether it's basic reading, math, they're college ready, if not skills ready. Because every kid who is productive is going to be a tax-paying citizen, and it's going to contribute. If you're older, more than 55, you are depending on the future generation to pay for your social security. So it's an investment. It's a selfish investment that all of us have to make in the future generation, right?
Right.
And I think it's fundamental, and that's the reason I'm running. I'm doing this because it's not easy, because I'm doing it because it's hard, and somebody needs to do it.
Right. Well, as I've said to every candidate, we need people who participate in this representative republic that we are, and go. People do not understand the sacrifice that you've made. All these candidates, the sacrifice of your personal life, your personal time, the things that you go through, is not something really I don't think you can understand until you go through it, right?
That's right. I've been shown the finger, I've been called names, but that's okay, parts of the game,
Really?
You don't take it personally, but you know what? If I can get my message across and people understand who I am, what I can do it, I think I won the battle. I might lose the election, but it's a long process, right? I'm invested,
Right.
and I think I can do good things for this community. I do it because it's a sense of purpose that drives me what I do. I've chosen a career in higher ed. over a career in Wall Street. I could have retired by now if I had chosen the career, but it chose not to because.
But that's not you.
That's not me.
I mean, like to tinker in things.
Maybe that's the wrong people have been called me socialist and stuff like that. I teach finance. I don't. Yeah, I don't teach philosophy. No, nothing wrong with whatever they do. But I strongly believe in capitalism, and this is the greatest country you can think of. The ideas. But what I want is, I've been very successful. I would like the same opportunities for every kid in this community.
Yeah.
I'll give an example. This is a real world experiment that has happened in this community. Between 2004 and 2006, 60 families from India, all of them were nurses, were hired in Tidal Health. The children have all grown up, finished college. Not a single person, second generation kid who went through the public schools, they're doctors, engineers, you think about all kinds of professionals. Not a single one of them is back in the community living here. That's a shame, right?
It is a shame.
So when my kids, they say, I have family in San Diego and Bay Area and all over the country. They go visit and say, "Oh, we live in a bad neighborhood. Why do I want to come back?" I said, "No, it's easy to leave, right? I want to show them that, we can invest and we can make a difference here, and that's the reason I'm running.
And we can prosper and we can,
definitely,
as a community.
Yeah.
Because really, we are only as strong as our weakest link.
That's right.
Especially in the future. And there is no reason in our country, in our state, in our county, every child isn't receiving a world-class education. However, I do want to say, and this is my opinion, that there's a lot more to it because kids come to school as a whole person, as a whole body, and there are things that may be going on at home.
That's right.
They may not all have equal standing in their home life. In other words, the level of care, spiritually, emotionally, physically, all the things that a kid needs. No fault, I'm not throwing shade at anybody. No. It's just that people struggle sometimes in life. And it is our job to seek out
that's right.
Like a missile and find where we can apply and help.
So I'll give an example. The problems we face is not unique. Talbot County had a high school graduation rate of less than 85, lower than the state average of 87. Mm-hmm. In 6 years, they went from that low average to 97.5. What they did was a wraparound service for at-risk kids. Yeah. It could be homelessness. It could be hunger. It could be abuse at home.
These
it could
are real
be
things.
We are the second poorest county in the wealthiest state in the nation. Mm-hmm. So we have the resources. We could partner with businesses. Businesses could actually adopt a school. Fund. Whatever needs to be done.
These are great ideas.
These are things. These are practical things to do.
Right.
So what I bring is a business sense, a market-driven approach to fixing a social problem, and that's the way we solve it.
Right.
I can do it myself. We need faith partners, NGOs.
Absolutely.
We have a significant Haitian Creole-speaking population. Luke is very eloquent in the studies of that. He understands.
Very impressive.
Very Hispanic-speaking population. Mm-hmm. A lot of agricultural workers. People work in a chicken factory.
Yeah,
things like that.
These issues have to be addressed.
Right. So we need to invest in those because we want them to be productive citizens. They might not speak English. But how about extended learning days, evening, tutoring, summer schools, like remedial education? There's so many things we can do. For me, the biggest issue that I found talking to parents is not CRT or SEL or other things that are sound bites where people put it on. No, it's the COVID learning losses. Yes. Kids are behind 2 years.
That's a big deal.
It is 2 years. 2 years of learning losses. Schools weren't open. I've seen it with my kids, but I've done things extra so that they kept up pace with what it is, but it's not true for every single child. So if you haven't closed the learning gap and you don't fix it, those kids are going to fail. Yeah. They won't be ready for high school or for college, and it's a waste of human potential, which is
very concerning.
It is, yeah,
because it's been 2 years of a whole generation where optimum learning wasn't achieved by any stretch of the imagination. It couldn't be.
That's right.
Because of what we were dealing with.
And there are behavioral issues because of the pandemic, cooped up 2 years. And the teachers are having an incredible job. They're not only teachers, they need to be psychologists, they need to be parents, they need to be behavioral specialists. They're getting hurt physically, emotionally. There's a lot of burnout, and I sympathize with the teachers.
So do I. Yeah, I wouldn't do that job. No.
No.
Yeah. Couldn't do it. I'm not qualified. Thank you very much. In a lot of ways, but the patience and the things that they're unfortunately having to deal with is a challenge, and we have to. This is a whole this is a system that works together. Like, you have to pay attention to every component. And we have to be fiscally responsible and have accountability too, because we only have so much money here too.
No, the thing is, like, I have a difference in opinion on this because of the 20.
It's not about my opinion. Thank you for correcting me. Go ahead.
It's of the 23 counties, including Baltimore City in the state, we are the second lowest in terms of spending in terms of education. We literally go and beg in the state and ask them to fund. So when we have county candidates saying that tax cuts, and no, you're not investing anything. What will happen is if you don't invest today, nobody's going to come. No business will be here. If you are a business owner, you should be shocked because you will not have consumers here to spend for your businesses. We have a multi-million-dollar project in downtown.
Yeah.
The tall building that you see
Yes.
is done by one of our SU alum. I'm glad to be a minor partner in that project. The Ross building.
Tallest building in
Why do we
Southfield.
invest? Because we think if we invest, it's a signal that this community is thriving. We want to attract businesses.
Right.
And I think every business should do that. To do that, we need to have workforce participation, workforce readiness, meaning education should be the key driver.
Right.
We haven't invested. We don't have a county-wide water sewer system. That's a basic need infrastructure, right?
Right.
That's what, you can build homes if you don't have water and sanitation. These are big issues.
Leonard, we've been talking septics for weeks and weeks here on this show. I had no idea it was such a big issue.
It is.
It is. And these are things we have to look future forward.
Exactly.
In, right?
If we don't invest today, trust me, COVID has shown people will leave. They will go where the opportunities are, where better quality of life is.
And life has changed in terms culturally since then, in the business environment and all kinds of ways, and we have to adjust continually.
That's right.
Right?
I think we need to invest, and investing it's a whole gamut, right? So we need to look at all facets of it. It's not just to have a good rainy day fund or building a multi-million-dollar sheriff's office. No. What is a productive investment that you're making that's going to yield dividends?
Right.
Prisons don't create jobs. Prisons make people who are not, they're not productive citizens if you don't train them, right?
Yeah, I'm going to agree and just say that I just don't think we handle that the best way we can as a society. I understand the punishment aspect, the justice aspect. But yeah, that becomes a whole different culture in there too. And
that's right.
we have to holistically look at our community.
That's right.
All of us. The worst of us is still part of us.
That's right.
And we have to love the worst of us to a better, healthier spot if we can.
Yeah.
If at all humanly possible.
That's right.
That's my opinion.
It's think about, why does crime happen? It's a lack of opportunity, right?
Right.
If we can attract businesses where we've lost a lot of manufacturing jobs, so it's a two-tier society here. You have white-collar jobs in the university, hospital, and corporations, and there's nothing in between.
Right.
And you have service-level jobs. People can make a living here. There's lack of affordable housing. These are structural issues.
That's a big issue also.
So
there's a lot to take on. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. That's what I do. I come, I look at a problem. I've been trained, you don't get
to solve problems.
Solve problems, and that's it. I can do it myself.
Right.
But we put our heads together. We partner with everybody. I think we can talk about issues honestly and openly without divisiveness or hatred. I think we can solve issues.
I hope so, because that is one thing that really, really gets to me. And I want to talk about that in a minute. But if you're just joining us, you are on 97.5 Everything Urban. This is your Sunday brunch with Jules and Company. And we are your scrapple sandwich of information between gospel and reggae on your Sunday afternoons. How about that daylight saving time? I think I have a little bit of, jet lag? Because I looked at the clock this morning, it was so long. It was the longest morning in the world. And I swear to God, I kept checking, because I have this show, I kept checking my phone to see if that was the right time. Because, who has analog clocks anymore? So,
right.
And fortunately, they update themselves for us. But if you're just joining us, we have Leonard Arvi on the air with us today, just 2 days before Election Day. The soles of his shoes are all worn out. He's been working District 3 like a madman trying to earn those votes. And we've invited him on just to get to know him a little bit more today and what he wants to do in office as a public servant. So tell us, since we were talking about that, because I am all too familiar, and if anybody knows me, I'm all too familiar with the unfortunate, ugly underside of politics and that is this human desire to tear someone else down instead of building your person up. And it can be quite mean. They call it a blood spurt for real. People do die over it. Hopefully not in our country too much. In other countries, it is not uncommon that people are poisoned or assassinated. And, fortunately, we live in a country that I think has a relatively fair process, as much as it can be when people get so passionate about these issues. But in the passion, I find it so disturbing of how mean and nasty people can be. I find that unacceptable as a human being. I look at you and I see a person with a spirit. You know what I mean? Or a spirit in a body. How about that? As a common trait of another person living on this planet. It's not the easiest place to live. None of us decided to be here. And, we sometimes don't agree, but what a boring world it would be if we all did. And so I appreciate the different ideas and opinions, but I don't appreciate it's people putting labels on others, people denigrating others, people calling people names. You said people call you names.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, misrepresentation, misinformation. But I think it's a temporary phenomena, right? These things happen in cycles, and people are much better. They can see through all these BS that actually people throw out, and I think we have solid candidates. I strongly recommend George Demko and Bonnie Ennis for at large.
Okay.
We got some fascinating educators. You can look at the life history as to what one person has done to see whether they really stand for the values that they represent.
Right.
Because we have a movement across this country where they want to defund public education and use private vouchers to destroy public education. Mm-hmm. It's the one institution where everybody, irrespective of your race, ethnicity, wealth, comes together at one institution and then gets a wholesome aspect of what America is about, because we don't have draft anymore.
Right.
It's a voluntary service organization, right? But public education is the only thing that actually keeps us all together, and I think we need to invest it. So for those folks who want to destroy it, I'm up against it. I'm just calling them out, right?
Yeah.
So you look at what you have done in public education. Where have you sent your kids? Where did you educate yourself? My kids were in private school, but I chose to send them to public school because I want them to be with the real world,
right,
and see the struggles of other children so that they don't feel privileged.
Right.
They should be thankful for what they have.
Exactly.
And I'm grateful for it.
That's the secret of life right there.
That's right. So, I think that's what it is. So I'll do everything as possible humanly I can, with civility, with respect. Mm-hmm. People denigrate, doesn't affect me, because if you don't take the insult, it goes back to them, and I choose not to dwell on negativity, and that's it. Yeah. We are much better than all this negativity, and I think we will do well in the long term in the community. So actions speak for itself. Please do your research. Please vote. The most important thing you can do is exercise your civic duty. We had the lowest voter participation in the state in the primaries, 10%. That's not acceptable.
It's so mind-boggling that people. It's like people talk about stuff all the time and complain, but the actual turnout of the privilege to go and exercise your personal decision, and even one vote is small, I get it. But I mean, one vote is made or broken, and election candidates before, exactly, locally here. Quite a lot.
This was District 3, 2018 Board of Education, won by one vote. So your vote matters.
See?
So I hope I earn your support.
So that one vote who's thinking about staying home, you better get out, because we're going to know what the turnout is, and y'all are going to be in trouble. I'll be mad here next Sunday. No, I won't be, but I'll be glad it's over, and we will do a little wrap up of who won, just to follow up with everybody. And again, I appreciate you coming in and speaking to us today, telling us what you're about, why you want to do it. We're pretty sure it isn't for the money on the Board of Ed, but and we are going to get moving on. But Leonard, if somebody wants to get a hold of you before the election, they want to help you, wave signs for you, or whatever, how do they get a hold of you?
Just go to my website, arvi.cc. You have all the information. I'll be happy to talk to you, and I will stay invested in this.
Okay. Well, we're so pleased to have you, and thank you for coming in. Thank you for doing what you're doing. We'll be following up. We'll be keeping in touch, but we appreciate your time. Wish you the best.